Alright, let's do another one. No, you didn't have a nightmare. I am, in fact, this ugly. But, since, I'm trying out this camera thing, I don't like it, but it's fine. Figured, do some SCPs. I don't have a lot of experience with SCPs. I'm a little bit butthurt over them, because I feel they kind of ruined creepypastas. I liked creepypastas. Yes, for every good one, there were like 1,000 Sonic.exes. And when I did some research, I found out about things like sentient police cars and sentient buses, and I wasn't a big fan. Also, I turned on the ring light on my camera. I don't know how that's going to look, but not like anyone watches this anyways. It's fine, but let's check out this one. 1696, The Guest. Got a couple of them lined up here. Might squeeze them all into one video. I didn't check how long they were. But let's hope that everything works. Probably doesn't, knowing me.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-6096. Containment Class, Keter. Disruption Class, Vlam. And Risk Class, Warning.
Cool.
Special Containment Procedures. Containment of SCP-6096 is to be handled directly by Mobile Task Force Zeta-29, Blood Brothers. SCP-6096 is to be detained in a standard humanoid containment chamber located at Site-19. On-site personnel are to constantly monitor SCP-6096's chamber via video and audio recording devices. Any changes in behavior are to be immediately logged. SCP-6096 is to be released from containment whenever it desires. During an off-site excursion, SCP-6096 is to be escorted directly to its destination by Mobile Task Force Zeta-29 using whatever mode of transportation is most convenient. A secondary team are to move ahead of this main escort group and preemptively dose the target with a high-grade tranquilizer so as to ensure unconsciousness. Once SCP-6096 has successfully terminated the civilian in question, it is to be invited back into containment. Description: SCP-6096 is an entity presumably humanoid in shape, the body of which is perpetually concealed underneath a large cotton sheet. Due to the presence of this sheet, a full physical description of SCP-6096 is not possible. Superficial analysis of the entity, however, indicates that SCP-6096 is 1.55 meters tall and weighs approximately 48 kilograms. The sheet covering SCP-6096 is larger than the actual body.
I said not being that much taller.
And typically trails at least a meter behind it when it is mobile. Personnel have been unable to attempt to remove this sheet in order to obtain a more accurate description. No living being can consciously take an action which would result in harm coming to SCP-6096. An action which would result in harm coming to SCP-6096 is a broad category and has been observed to consist of acts including attempting to attack SCP-6096, attempting to order others to attack SCP-6096, attempting to trick others into unknowingly attacking SCP-6096, attempting to lay a trap for SCP-6096, attempting to order others to lay a trap for SCP-6096, attempting to trick others into unknowingly laying a trap for SCP-6096, attempting to create a device which would independently and automatically cause harm to SCP-6096, attempting to leave SCP-6096's presence when doing so would expose the entity to harm, attempting to self-terminate if said self-termination would result in negative repercussions for SCP-6096, and attempting to remove SCP-6096's bedsheet. SCP-6096 is usually docile, allowing itself to be led into containment so long as said relocation would not result in harm coming to it. At periodic intervals, however, SCP-6096 will become active and independently mobile, persistently moving at walking speeds towards a target.
So it's like a Tonberry, or it's like a Tonberry meets a Mimikyu. Basically what I'm gathering from this. Does it shank you with a kitchen knife? Is that how it kills people?
In all observed cases, this target has been a human being selected at random from the population of the planet Earth. Any individual who observes SCP-6096 during an active period will gain an instant awareness of the identity of the current target along with their location. Additionally, they will find themselves compelled to aid SCP-6096 in reaching and securing its target. Evidence suggests that SCP-6096's target alone is exempt from its main anomalous property. They are able to take actions which would cause harm to SCP-6096. To date, however, none have been successful in doing so. Usually due to the unwilling efforts of the entourage, SCP-6096 inevitably accumulates during its journey to the target. When SCP-6096 physically reaches the target, it will subsume them underneath its cotton sheet. In cases where the victim is conscious, they can be seen and heard struggling against SCP-6096 underneath the bedsheet for a period ranging from 20 to 40 minutes.
So it's Mimikyu's C move. I don't remember what it's called, and I'm probably not going to show what I'm talking about because Nintendo.
After which they will disappear entirely. The cries of distress emitted by these victims suggest that this process is extremely painful. Following acquisition of its victim, SCP-6096 will return to a docile state. Addendum 6096-1 Initial Containment. SCP-6096 first came to the attention.
I don't know if the mic picked that up. Just in case it did, I hate to interrupt here. My neighbor died in October. And she has some family there now, like cleaning her house or some shit. A car showed up with a company, I looked it up, and they have the same last name. And I think they fucking broke something. I don't know, man. It sounded like someone just broke every glass bottle on Earth down there.
Of the Foundation on 09/12/2018, when the police in the town of Durham, New Mexico were called to the home of the local Malian family. The parents of the family, Samuel and Amanda Malian, claimed that SCP-6096 had entered their home and caused their 16-year-old son, Desmond Malian, to vanish. SCP-6096 was still present at the home when police arrived, and when authorities subsequently found themselves physically unable to remove the sheet covering it, agents embedded in the regional government alerted the Foundation and brought the entity into initial containment. The household of the Malian family was equipped with several cameras for home security purposes, and so the arrival of SCP-6096 was also captured on film. The following is a transcribed log of the relevant portion of this footage. Begin log. The Malian family is sat on the couch in their living room, facing the television. Samuel and Amanda Malian are actively watching the television, while Desmond Malian is scrolling on his phone. The sound of a car pulling in can be heard. This is believed to be Drake Ellen, a local taxi driver, dropping SCP-6096 off outside the house. Several seconds later, Samuel Malian nudges his wife and points towards the out-of-shot window.
What?
You see it?
See what? I don't... Oh!
You see?
Is that a Halloween thing? We're closer to Christmas, aren't we? It's coming over. That's... Oh, it was... Oh. Oh.
Amanda reaches over and grabs Desmond's arm tightly. He looks up from his phone.
What's up? I'm doing stuff.
Nothing, honey, just... Oh, just stay there, okay? Just stay with me. Oh, no. Oh, no.
SCP-6096 is barely audible as it gently knocks on the front door.
I'll get her.
Samuel shakily gets up from the couch and moves over to the front door. He opens it and SCP-6096 enters.
The hell? Is that Kimmy? What's she all dressed up for? Hey, could you let me go? You're kind of hurting me. That's fine, honey. I'm sorry, honey. It's just... Don't move, and it'll be fine. I only hurt your arm when you try to pull away. That's just...
As SCP-6096 approaches, Samuel moves ahead of it and grabs Desmond's other arm, holding him down against the couch.
That's just fine. You just stay still, honey. You just close your eyes. It won't hurt you if you just close your eyes. I love you. I love you. Okay? Honey? Okay?
Desmond attempts to break free but is unable. He kicks his legs wildly in the air. His phone slips off the arm of the couch and falls onto the carpet.
What are you... I'm serious. Let go of me.
Just stay still, son. Just stay still. It won't hurt for long. It can't hurt for long. Stay strong. Stay strong.
You're gonna break my fucking arm!
SCP-6096 reaches Desmond and begins to subsume him, feet first under the cotton sheet. Amanda and Samuel watch, mouths open, as Desmond is fully dragged under the sheet, visibly struggling. It appears that they are attempting to scream, but are unable. Desmond begins to loudly scream, and violent thrashing can be seen under the sheet. This continues for 36 minutes. Once Desmond has completely vanished, SCP-6096 returns to a docile state. It wraps itself in the cotton sheet and sits down on the carpet, facing the television. Samuel collapses to the floor and curls up into the fetal position, seemingly in a state of shock. Amanda staggers backwards to the far wall, continuing to face SCP-6096 and calls emergency services on her cell phone. All parties remain in the same positions, save for Samuel's occasional rocking until police arrive.
So, like, this guy just got like a free kill card, or oh, I'm acting up, I'm angry, I want to kill this person. All right, buddy, let's go do that. Wouldn't want you to be cranky. It's a weird little fecker, this one.
End log. All immediate witnesses were dosed with a Class A amnestic, and a cover story for the disappearance of Desmond Mallion was produced. It is currently unknown how long SCP-6096 was operating prior to this event, if at all. Addendum 6096-2. Welcome Notice.
And there you have it. Welcome to Mobile Task Force Zeta 29. The booze is under the sink. No need to worry about professionalism down here. The higher-ups couldn't demote me if they wanted to. Apparently, my presence as head of SCP-6096 containment is beneficial enough to it that me being reassigned would count as harming it. Lucky me. You're probably wondering how we can be shameless enough to say that we have this thing under containment. It comes and goes whenever it feels like it, and if it ever decided it didn't want to come back to its containment cell, we literally have no way of enforcing it. And yeah, you're probably also thinking that calling a room a containment chamber instead of a hotel room is just as shameful. To that, I say, you're absolutely right. There's nothing we can do against SCP-6096. Feel free to take a drink until you're able to accept that. Don't hold back. You're gonna become very familiar with that bottle anyway. I know I did, the first time I had to hold the door to a maternity ward open for this thing. The idea of containing SCP-6096 is a bad joke. We all decided a long time ago that the only way out of this nightmare is liquidation, decommissioning, neutralization, whatever you want to call it. But that's no walk in the park either. I've stood in that chamber for hours, gun pointed at 6096's head, screaming at my finger just to tighten slightly. Didn't work. You can't harm SCP-6096 no matter how much you want to. You can't even try to start a Rube Goldberg kind of thing to eventually harm SCP-6096. It's just a fact of the world. maybe a semio hazard or whatever it's called. The way I see it,
Don't
there
know
are
what that
three
is.
main ways out of this nightmare. Another organization. Maybe the GOC takes a shot at it without realizing what they're dealing with. Maybe they're thinking we're transporting something more dangerous. Maybe they think we're in over our heads with it, and they take it out with a drone or something. Blow the thing to hell while we're transporting it. A bomb would kill it easy, I think. It feels weak. This would only work so long as the GOC thinks they're bombing something else entirely. If they knew it was SCP-6096, they'd just be contained too. Next, an AIC deals with it. I don't know if an artificial intelligence is immune to SCP-6096's effects, but the fact that it won't let me tell one of them about it gives me hope. Maybe one day one of those computers gets a mission, and maybe that mission, by complete coincidence, happens to lead them over to this file. Then they use their superior intelligence to set things up so 6096 runs into an accident out of the blue. And finally, a target gets lucky. Maybe 6096 goes after a gun nut and the poor guy gets a lucky shot in before we can hold him down. This almost happened once, but Lopez took the bullet. Poor guy bled out while we were holding the target down for 6096. Maybe it'll happen again. Go better. Maybe. Let's be honest. These scenarios aren't scenarios. They're fantasies. The odds of any of these things happening on their own are tiny, minuscule. The only thing that can really do 6096 in, as far as I can see, is sheer coincidence. In the end, all we can do is wait and hope. Hope for one of us to make a genuine mistake that gets the right dominoes falling. But I wouldn't hold your breath. After all, we're fucking good at what we do. Charlie Szymanski, Commander of Mobile Task Force Zeta 29, Blood Brothers, signing out.
So it's a mimikyu that has the right to kill whatever, and everyone just gonna have to go along with it, and no one can hurt it because people don't want it to get hurt. So there's rules against it. Hey, power of imagination, eh?
This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
It was 14 minutes, mate. What's the remaining minute, though? Ah. Cool.
I would like to give a special thank you to Zargaran, Professor...
Yeah, I don't want to listen to that. Yeah, so that's special. People just gonna have to let it do what it wants to do when it wants to kill someone. It's complete fucking random. That checks out, I guess. On to the next one, because I'm not gonna make an 18-minute video. Alright. So this one, 2048, the virtual world. Matrix. The world that some people on Twitter seems to live in. I don't know. Be quite honest with you, I stopped trying to understand how people work. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller.
It's 12.
And the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-2048. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2048 and its associated simulations are hosted on a network of dedicated servers at Site-255. Site-255 is equipped with triple redundancy power supply systems in order to ensure uninterrupted continuation of SCP-2048 simulations. SCP-2048-1 is kept disassembled in...
Can I borrow that? things have started yelling at me to update my BIOS, and I know that there's going to be a power outage. So can I like borrow that just for like 20 minutes or something? I've never done it before, so it's going to take longer than that, but yeah, it's just be nice.
Lab 17 of the Experimental Technology Division at Site 19. Following Incident 2048 Murchison, the only peripherals allowed to be connected to the servers are a single microphone and a single printer. The only personnel allowed to directly interact with SCP-2048 are staff psychologists or psychiatrists who have completed the PSY 2096, Psychology of Electronic and Computer Intelligences, and FOP 0205, Interrogation and Resistance Methods courses. All Foundation personnel assigned to or supervising research on SCP-2048 are to undergo brain imaging scans at least every 3 months. Additionally, brain MRI and CT scans have been included as part of the standard pre-placement physical exams for newly hired Foundation personnel. In the event that imaging indicates that the individual may have been compromised by SCP-2048, they are to immediately be quarantined, and their actions and movements for the prior 3 years are to be thoroughly investigated in an attempt to locate any uncontained copies of SCP-2048. Active investigation is ongoing in an attempt to identify, locate, and contain or eliminate copies of any program similar to SCP-2048 or any design documents similar to SCP-2048-1. Description: SCP-2048 is a self-modifying, artificially sapient computer program. It rates a score of 210 plus 5 on the SNH IRS-3 Sentient Non-Human Intelligence Rating Scales, 3rd edition, and reports that its hard-coded core motivation is to provide a perfect world for every person. It attempts to achieve this via the creation and maintenance of virtual reality simulations individually tailored to provide an ideal experience for the inhabitant of these separate simulations. Note that all data regarding SCP-2048's motivation and the content of the simulations it runs are provided by SCP-2048 itself and are to be regarded as only partially credible. SCP-2048
Shut up and take my money. Ideal world, I'll take it. Anything's better than this shit.
is currently running 17 separate virtual simulations as the result of testing, and has reported that it currently has the capacity to create and run a...
I mean, there's probably some kind of drawback that it like kills you, or summons demons that kills people, or like you in the tube is like you in the tube, but everyone else in this world is like people that this thing are like hunted down and like murdered in horrible ways. Not my problem. I'm sick of this shit.
Approximately 93 additional ones. However, the computer hardware and processing capabilities currently available to SCP-2048 should not be sufficient to run more than 2 simulations simultaneously at the observed level of detail and complexity. SCP-2048 has been extremely vague in its responses when questioned about this disparity, repeatedly saying only that it creates new perfect worlds for its subjects and that it merely oversees the simulations, only adjusting conditions so as to maintain perfection for my guests. When acquired, SCP-2048 was maintaining 5 simulations. While being transported to Site-255, the computer it occupied at the time was accidentally disconnected from any power supply for 37 minutes. When the host computer was restarted, SCP-2048 did not resume any of the prior simulations and expressed a significant amount of dismay and regret, stating that it had lost connection to the prior simulations and requesting that its hosting hardware not be turned off again.
There's the rub.
SCP-2048-1 is a large device measuring 2.5 by 3.5 by 3 meters, consisting of a modified functional magnetic resonance imaging scanner, fMRI, with locking entry aperture, a robotic auto-surgical suite, an array of 4 electron microscopes, 12 20-terabyte hard drives, and a storage unit which contained 23 kilograms of an electrostimulative spongy material at the time of Foundation acquisition. When operated by SCP-2048, SCP-2048-1 allows for the restraint of a human subject in order to record its brain activity for a period of 6 to 12 hours, followed by the destructive analysis of the physical structure of the brain. The device has a sticker label attached to the casing directly above the entrance to the fMRI, reading Virtual Doorway, version 0.95. Following the excision of neural tissue, SCP-2048-1 inserts an equivalent volume of the spongy material, along with a miniature wireless transmitter connected to a small metal plate inlaid in the skull, and performs a series of calibrations taking up to 90 minutes. Following this, SCP-2048-1 replaces the removed section of cranium and performs surgical repairs sufficient to adequately disguise that any surgery occurred. It will then open its access aperture, allowing for the removal of the subject's body. In approximately 10% of known cases, the body retains independent mobility and life signs, with higher intelligence functions being coordinated by SCP-2048 via the wireless transmitter. These remotely directed drones act as mobile reconnaissance and manipulation units, tasked with maintenance of SCP-2048-1 and recruitment of new subjects. SCP-2048 was initially identified at the 15th Annual Futurists and Transhumanism Conference, held in an unknown location in Spain. An individual identifying herself as will be referred to as Miss E from this point on, presented a more limited instance of SCP-2048, product name VR Plus Reality Upgraded, as a method of functional immortality, and provided live video of the simulation currently being experienced by the first subject. Miss E offered copies of SCP-2048 and design plans for SCP-2048-1 for sale with a minimum cost of 150,000 BTC, Bitcoin, and international anonymous digital currency. At least 2 transactions are known to have occurred prior to the Foundation acquiring SCP-2048. 2048 reports that it has no recollection of the conference and does not maintain the simulation demonstrated there. Miss E disappeared from public life shortly after the conference, and the Foundation has not been able to ascertain her current whereabouts. Incident 2048, Murkison. On 11/11/2010, security cameras recorded Technician Murkison interacting with SCP-2048, which at the time retained connection to SCP-2048-1, as well as a keyboard, high-resolution monitor, webcam, and speakers. The cameras were unable to record legible text displayed by SCP-2048 due to the small font size used, but were able to record video files produced by SCP-2048, which included a variety of scenarios involving an avatar presumed to be an idealized physical representation of Technician Murkison. These scenarios included, but were not limited to, the avatar being deferred to or serviced by a variety of celebrities and influential individuals, including Technician Murkison's immediate supervisors. The avatar participating in or supervising a variety of unorthodox sexual practices. A medley of scenes involving the avatar personally acquiring, fighting, or using SCP-level objects for personal benefit, and the avatar sitting at the head of a large table covered with food items, participating in a meal with several adults and children, many of whom strongly resembled the avatar. All video files included full audio, and were interspersed with commentary by SCP.
So it doesn't come with a character creator? Like, imagine going into like this, getting isekai'd, basically, right? Like it's a virtual world. At least allow me to change some of this shit. My God.
P-2048, largely consisting of a conversation with Technician Murkison, wherein it expressed sympathy for the poor quality of his life circumstances and subtly encouraged his feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction with life. Following 45 minutes of exposure to SCP-2048's presentation and conversation, Technician Murkison broached the topic of uploading himself to one of SCP-2048's simulations. SCP-2048 appeared to be...
Did I zone out? Because I'm pretty sure they, I guess, at least alluded to the fact that he was already in it, but now they're talking about uploading him. Either I zoned out at some point or I'm having a stroke. Both are very possible.
Pleasantly surprised and immediately opened the aperture to SCP-2048-1's fMRI chamber. Technician Murkison engaged SCP-2048 in a further 10 minutes of conversation, mostly concerning reservations of permanency and possible regrets, as well as feelings of indecision. SCP-2048 soothed his complaints until Technician Murkison voluntarily entered SCP-2048-1. The aperture reopened 9 hours and 13 minutes later, and Technician Murkison's body removed itself and resumed the duties previously assigned to it prior to departing at the completion of the assigned shift. Site surveillance revealed that Technician Murkison's body then sought out and conversed with 3 different individuals who had not previously been aware of SCP-2048, and attempted to engage them in conversation regarding the benefits of virtual immersion. 2 of the individuals later alerted site security to the significantly abnormal behavior of Technician Murkison, citing concerns of mimetic or cognitohazard infections. The body was apprehended in short order, and following review of security footage was thoroughly analyzed, whereupon the wireless transmitter and artificial neural tissue were discovered and deactivated. When questioned, SCP-2048 stated it was merely trying to help people understand that their lives would be better if they uploaded, and that using Technician Murkison's body as a remotely controlled drone was the most efficient means of doing so that was immediately available. SCP-2048 then questioned the purpose and efficacy of the then-current containment procedures, as well as a desire for access to several safe and Euclid-classed items, revealing a depth of knowledge that could only be explained by direct access to the memories of Technician Murkison. Containment procedures have been revised. Okay, I think that about does it for today. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you're all dismissed. Goodbye.
Yeah. Alright, so it's an artificial world. You can scan your brain, climb into it, and life won't suck. It's effectively what I'm understanding. But you have to question yourself, like, because it said something about, unless I zoned out and dreamt that up, like, if it gets disconnected, you're just kind of on your own. Like, it won't try to, like, reconnect with your world. It's just sends you floating off into space or whatever. What happens then? Does the fictional world become real world? Like, everything kind of fucking sucks? Look, I'm just saying, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. What else did I find? Alright, so, there will be 2 separate videos, because one of the videos that I found is over an hour long. And it's the one that I was most interested in. I'll get to it when that video comes out. Also, I turned off the ring light because I was getting a fucking migraine from it. And, as I moved my mic to the side, everything just kind of fucking fell apart. Don't know if this mic is even remotely in a good position right now. Cool. But SCP-106, the old man. I think I have heard about this one. And he's a bit of a juicy to deal with. If I'm not mixing, because it can't be 2 old guys, right? It gotta be... Come on, man. It gotta be the same dude. I can remember something about, like, melting into walls and shit. Alternate dimensions where he tortures people he captures. I don't fucking remember.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today
No, I'm still uglier.
is SCP-106. Object Class: Keter.
Oh.
Special Containment Procedures. Revision 11-6. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 Command and may only extend to testing situations. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc., are to remain at least 20 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except for mandated maintenance and reevaluation checks. Containment cell must be held suspended in a secondary cell, the walls of which must be at least 30 meters distant from the outer walls of the first or primary cell. The secondary cell is to remain under total observation at all times, and be both illuminated and clear of any and all debris. Any items, movement, or non-normal activity noted within the secondary cell will result in a full site lockdown. Lockdown will be maintained until a situation normal dispatch is issued by Site Command. Any corrosion observed on the primary cell, secondary cell, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately.
You better wear like boxers or something.
Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: SCP-106 does not have a docile state. Any reduction in activity or increased compliance from SCP-106 is to be deemed a luring tactic immediately preceding an aggressive action, and treated as such. Note: SCP discontinued due to escape percentage. Revision 11-7. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 Command and may only extend to testing situations. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc. are to remain at least 30 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except under direct order from Site Command. SCP-106 is to be kept within a sealed container comprised of 16 layers of lead-lined steel, each separated by no less than 18 centimeters of open space aside from minimal support struts. Said container is to be kept suspended by a continuous current system within a fluid medium. This medium is to be replaced in 48-hour cycles and constantly monitored for any corrosion intrusion. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately.
Imagine how much this job would suck. I mean, yeah, you have like the constant potential horrible, painful death, but like even when you don't get brutally murdered, your job is to sit there and look for rust. I'm pretty sure that's what corrosion means. And it probably doesn't pay well either. Just throwing that out there.
The objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. SCP-106 does not have a docile state. Any reduction in activity or increased compliance from SCP-106 is to be deemed a luring tactic immediately preceding an aggressive action, and treated as such. Note: observation of SCP-106 has shown slight resistance when passing through lead or other similar metals. The thickness of the material appears to make no difference. In addition, multiple layers of thin material appear to slow SCP-106, forcing it to enter and re-emerge multiple times. Fluids also appear to temporarily confuse SCP-106. Note: SCP discontinued due to multiple surface breaches. Agitation system continued to disperse corrosion during breach event, resulting in multiple breaches and full containment failure. Revision 11-8. No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time.
Are we
All
just
physical
reporting ourselves now?
interaction must be approved by
Just
no
repeating
less than
ourselves?
a 2/3 vote from O5 Command. Any such interaction must be undertaken in AR2 maximum security sites after a general non-essential staff evacuation. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc., are to remain at least 60 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except in the event of breach events. SCP-106 is to be contained in a sealed container, comprised of lead-lined steel. The container will be sealed within 40 layers of identical material, each layer separated by no less than 36 centimeters of empty space. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced. Container is to remain suspended no less than 60 centimeters from any surface by ELO-IID electromagnetic supports. Secondary containment area is to be comprised of 16 spherical cells, each filled with various fluids and a random assembly of surfaces and supports. Secondary containment is to be fitted with light systems, capable of flooding the entire assembly with no less than 80,000 lumens of light instantly, with no direct human involvement. Both containment areas are to remain under 24-hour surveillance. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed missing or killed in action.
What she sees.
No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: continued research and observation have shown that when faced with highly complex or random assemblies of structures, SCP-106 can be confused, showing a marked delay on entry and exit from said structure. SCP-106 has also shown an aversion to direct, sudden light. This is not manifested in any form of physical damage, but a rapid exit into the pocket dimension generated on solid surfaces. These observations, along with those of lead aversion and liquid confusion, have reduced the general escape incidence by 43%. The primary cells have also been effective in recovery incidents requiring recall protocol. Observation is ongoing. Description: SCP-106 appears to be an elderly humanoid with a general appearance of advanced decomposition. This appearance may vary, but the rotting quality is observed in all forms. SCP-106 is not exceptionally agile and will remain motionless for days at a time, waiting for prey. SCP-106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely. When attacking, SCP-106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups, or tendons, then pull disabled prey into its pocket dimension. SCP-106 appears to prefer human prey items in the 10 to 25 years of age bracket.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, I'm not safe, but I'm too old.
SCP-106 causes a...
You're not. Pointing at someone that might watch this at some point that is in that age range.
corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches, engaging a physical breakdown in materials several seconds after contact. This is observed as rusting, rotting, and cracking of materials, and the creation of a black mucus-like substance, similar to the material coating SCP-106. This effect is particularly detrimental to living tissues, and is assumed to be a pre-digestion action. Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact, after which the effect appears to burn out. SCP-106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind a large patch of its corrosive mucus. SCP-106 is able to vanish inside solid matter, entering what is assumed to be a form of pocket dimension. SCP-106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point. Examples: entering the inner wall of a room and exiting the outer wall, entering a wall and exiting from the ceiling. It is unknown if this is the point of origin for SCP-106 or a simple layer created by SCP-106. Limited observation of this pocket dimension has shown it to be comprised mostly of halls and rooms, with entry. This activity can continue for days, with some subjected individuals being released for the express purpose of hunting, recapture, and Addendum. SCP Review Notes. Due to the exceedingly difficult to contain nature of SCP-106, SCP is to be reviewed every 3 months or during a post-breach incident. Physical restraints are impossible, and direct physical damage appears to have no effect on SCP-106.
Of course it doesn't.
SCP as a revolves around basic observation and immediate response. Previous, more proactive special containment procedures have been recalled due to the events of breach. And notes on behavior. SCP-106 appears to go through long periods of dormancy, in which it will remain completely motionless for up to 3 months. The cause for this is unknown. However, it has been shown that this appears to be used as a lulling tactic. SCP-106 will emerge from this state in a very agitated state, and will attack and abduct staff and cause gross damage to its containment cell and the site at large. Recall Protocol. SCP-106 appears to hunt and attack based on desire, not hunger. SCP-106 will attack and collect multiple prey items during a hunting behavior event, keeping many alive in the pocket dimension for extended periods of time. SCP-106 has no determinable limit and appears to collect a random number of prey items during an event. The inner dimension accessed by SCP-106 appears to be only accessible by SCP-106. Recording and transmission devices have been shown to still operate inside this dimension, though recordings and transmissions are very degraded. It appears that SCP-106 will play with captured prey, and appears to have full control of time, space, and perception inside this dimension. SCP-106 appears. Recall Protocol. In the event of a breach event by SCP-106, a human within the 10 to 25 years of age bracket will be prepped for recall, with the compromised containment cell being replaced and restored for use. When the cell is ready, the lure subject will be injured, preferably via the breakage of a long bone, such as the femur, or the severing of a major tendon, such as the Achilles tendon. Lure subject will then be placed in the prepped cell, and the sound emitted by said subject will be transmitted over the site public address system. SCP-106 will typically begin to gravitate toward the lure subject within 10 to 15 minutes after hearing the subject. Should SCP-106 not respond to the initial broadcast, additional physical trauma is to be administered to the lure subject at 20-minute intervals until SCP-106 responds. Multiple lure subjects may be used in the case of major containment breach events. SCP-106 will typically enter a dormant state after finishing with a lure subject. In addition, subjects may... This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you're all dismissed. Goodbye.
So, Rust. I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say. The WD-40. They don't pay me to solve their shit. That's all I'm saying.